Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Sadlier School Live. I am so excited to be here again today with Dr. Matthew Beyranevand. Did I say it right today?
2 days in a row. Nice job, Cam.
I'm getting it. Slowly but surely. It's only taken me over a year, but now I can visually see your name in my head and it makes it a little bit easier. So thank you for being back on today's show as a guest with us today. I so appreciate it, and I'm really, really excited for today's topic because today Matthew is going to help guide us in our navigation of online resources, because I know right now that there are a ton of wonderful resources online, and the hard point is really narrowing down what is beneficial for educators to use, what's beneficial for the students and the parents to use at home. So Matthew, if you want to kind of just dive in and get us started on the topic, I am really, really looking forward to it.
Excellent. Thank you, Cam. So yesterday we kind of went through a little bit about establishing a schedule and structure at home during this online learning time that we're in with most of the schools closed. And so once we get that established, we're moving today, as Cam said, to talk a little bit about what we should be doing with these resources, how many resources there are, and what we should do as parents and caregivers to make these determinations. And it can be very overwhelming. So the first thing is you want to start by looking at the recommendations by your teacher. That's a great place to start, both for the idea that that's what they're recommending and the familiarity with it. My suggestion is, though, is that before you start working on that particular app or website with your child, you take a little bit of time yourself to first learn it and understand it. If you're going to go through the process of learning it while you're trying to teach your child how to do that, it will likely lead to a frustrating experience that may not be positive for either you or your children. So my first recommendation is based on look at what your teacher has sent, and then figure it out yourself for a little bit. Make sure you understand the rules and expectations before you incorporate it into your child's daily learning time.
That's a great, great tip, because I hopped onto one of the apps with my kids. I think it was like Prodigy or something, and I wasn't familiar with it. I couldn't find like the activity we were supposed to use, and it was really frustrating for me because we got like 10 or 15 minutes in and I'm like, oh, we've got to move on to something else. Like, this isn't the time or the place to be doing this. So I think that's really beneficial. One of the struggles I've had as a parent is that I'm almost getting so many resources from teachers that's been overwhelming for me, because I'm like, there's 5 different ones that are great for literacy here. There's ones that are also great for math, and I don't know which one is best. So what is your advice for parents who are given those lengthy lists?
Yep, well, it is an absolutely overwhelming experience. So from the perspective of mathematics or within the STEM field, I would want to focus my time and attention on more of the apps or online resources that focus on conceptual understanding. And what I mean by that is there's procedural practice, and then there's helping understand whatever that mathematical concept is. And I believe that it's more beneficial use of our time to be focusing on those things that are just helping us understand the mathematics, and not just worksheets that have been transformed to being online, because that really is not that exciting or meaningful to a child. Now, I have a caveat there. If your teacher's assigning it and saying it's a must do, well, you must do have to do it. But if there are so many choices and you're a parent trying to figure out which one is best, I lean towards the ones that's helping my child understand the mathematics.
That's a good tip. So thank you. I appreciate that, because I want to also make sure that it's fun for my child at the same time, and that they're not sitting here like, Mom, you are just the worst teacher, or they're bored and not getting excited about their learning experience. So that's great.
Absolutely. And I think that it's a nice point to bring up the fact that you and I are going to be running a master math class next week with Sadlier. And on the first day of the master class, which is Tuesday afternoon, I'm going to actually be talking about that exact topic about authentic student engagement and answering that question, why do we need to learn math? And when am I ever going to be able to use that? Because that's something that parents and children say all the time. So that's kind of a little bit of a preview of what we'll be talking about next week. But you're right, there are so many resources out there available. We want to make sure the things that they do are engaging, using games or other things so that it's not boring for the kids and they're sitting here saying, why do I have to do this? So I think you nailed it there, Cam.
Yeah, thank you. And I want to let everybody know that I just dropped into the chat on Facebook a link to that Math Masterclass. So we would love to have you there with us next week. Go ahead and sign up. And if you can join us live, we're going to be hosting it at 4 p.m. Eastern time on Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. That's March 31st and April 1st. And if you can't attend live, you've got a busy virtual life schedule, a busy social distancing schedule, then you can actually catch the replay the next day. We're going to make all of the recordings available to those of you who register for that class. So Dr. Matthew is amazing. I've attended probably 4 of his past trainings with Sadlier, and each one I walk away just feeling pumped up and really excited about what he's been sharing. And we have a comment here in Zoom. Oh.
As you're looking over that comment, Cam, let me just share another suggestion that I have. So we have this online learning that we are doing at this point, and I think that there's so many great opportunities out there. But I think we also, as caregivers of children, need to make sure that there is learning that takes place that is not on the technology, that is not online. There is nothing more valuable than asking your child to, or working with your child to take 30 minutes or an hour a day just to do some reading. Having an opportunity to play games with your kids that maybe have some embedded mathematics involved in it. So the screen time is good, and that's a requirement for most during this virtual learning time that we're in. But don't forget that there's many positive things you can do offline as well.
Yeah, and I'm also trying to really incorporate it into my daily schedule so it doesn't feel quite so cumbersome. So at dinner time, what we're doing is we sit around the table and we all share like a new word that we heard, or a word that I tell the kids, like, I want you to amaze me with a word, you know, and they're coming up. My daughter the other day was like vertices, and I'm like, oh yeah, vertices, that's a great word, you know. And what does vertices mean? And we just kind of do this like little round table with that vocabulary learning, and we are able to incorporate that, you know, little nugget of a lesson into the day-to-day. And like even today we were planting plants, and so my husband did a science experiment with them where they took some plants to propagate and they put them in their rooms and different lights and stuff to see like how are they going to grow. So like you said, doing things offline that also naturally fit in with your day-to-day life is going to feel a lot better too. And the comment I had on here was that our video keeps freezing, and it looks good on my end, but if you guys are also having that problem, let us know in the chat, and hopefully the internet gurus and gods will be with us.
So,
okay.
Cam, we've been talking in real general terms so far today about resources. I do want to take an opportunity to share another resource that comes specifically from Sadlier, and that is their new online program called Matika Worlds. And at this point, it requires you to have a subscription with the Sadlier program. So if you do have the Sadlier program, it is a great resource. It is a game, and it focuses on that conceptual understanding that we're talking about. And if you don't, well, that opportunity might not be available for you. But I know a lot of people who watch these talks and on the Facebook Live already have the Sadlier product. So that's a great resource to be able to use as well.
Yeah, and I'm so glad you mentioned that, because Sadlier pulled together a page and they've listed a lot of their online learning resources for people. We have it broken out by people who might not be customers of Sadlier, but you're users of our resources. And then we also have a section here for current customers. So if you are someone who has Sadlier Math, you will be able to access that game. And we have all of the information here on the website. You should have also received an email from us with different information if you haven't seen anything and you're like, hey, Cam, I want all the deets, just let us know in the comments and I will follow up with you personally and make sure that you get all the information that you need. So thanks for bringing that up, Matt.
So Cam, I know we only have a minute or two left before this Facebook Live goes down. I want to make a suggestion to all the people who are watching now. I'm going to be coming back on next week, I believe 2 days next week, and I'm going to start talking a little bit about mathematics. If there's anything in particular that you as parents or caregivers want to know about, feel free to either shoot an email or write it in the chat below and let us know so that we can prepare things that you have questions about and things that you're interested in, because the whole point of this Facebook Live is to be able to help support you while we're in this mode of online learning when schools are closed.
Yes, yes. And if you are an educator, again, we have our masterclass happening next week. I have links to that in our chat on Zoom and Facebook, and I will share that again with all of you. Go there and join us. And if you have anything that you want us to make sure we, address on those calls, let us know if it fits with the topic.
Yeah,
if not, we'll do a separate Facebook Live.
Yep, the Tuesday class is really focusing on why we teach mathematics and helping answer the question, when are we ever going to use this? And then the Wednesday topic is what it looks like to have a great math classroom, both from the perspective of teachers and students. And there are some great free downloadables that come when you register for that master class for next week. So I would encourage you to sign up for that. And even if you can't watch it live, as Cam said earlier, we have an opportunity for you to watch it on replay afterwards, and you still get all those free resources.
Yeah, I was looking at one of the downloads for the class this week, and it was really fascinating to me, all of the different professions and careers that use math. And I thought, well, that's a really good way to stump kids when they ask you that question. Why are we learning this? Like, well, here's all the reasons.
Exactly.
So, thanks for joining me again today, Matthew. I appreciate it. We're going to be back live again tomorrow at 3:00 p.m. Eastern, 12 o'clock Pacific. And Matthew's going to be back with me next week, and we're going to dive deeper into math, and we can't wait to see you guys there. So thanks for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me, Cam, and thank you everyone for watching. I look forward to seeing you guys again next week, both for these Facebook Live chats and the masterclass.
Ciao.